everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review for The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So if you didn't know, The Assassin's Blade is a bind-up of novellas that are preceding the Throne of Glass series, the first book of that series, which is Throne of Glass, and it takes place in this fantasy world and follows Celaena Sardothien, who is a female assassin, and this is basically comprised of 4 or 5 different stories that kind of lead up to the events of Throne of Glass. The writing of all of these stories, much like the writing of the Throne of Glass series, was really fantastic. I find that Sarah J. Maas, I always want to say Maas. Maas sounds so weird to me, but I find that her writing is really realistic, I guess. Even though it's a fantasy world, I find it really easy to be brought into the world that she creates, and the descriptions of places and what people are wearing and just those little things, she describes them really beautifully, and it really creates the whole atmosphere of the book, and it was no different in these stories. And she's really good at characterization as well, and I think that you really saw a lot of that in this book, especially because it kind of shows how Celaena became who she is in the Throne of Glass series. That being said, the characters in this book were really great. I loved being introduced to all these different characters that you see kind of touching her life, and you get to really see how those people really affect Celaena as she is journeying to the events of Throne of Glass. You really get to see Celaena develop as a person, and you kind of get an inside look at her. But I really love the fact that despite the fact that she's this really just badass like girl and she's amazing, she's really realistic. She's human. Like, she sees a cute pair of shoes and she wants to buy them, and I just really loved that. Those little things like that I think really take the book to the next level, because it makes her a really relatable heroine and really just kind of really empowering, I guess. I also really loved being introduced to Sam. He was really great. I loved learning about him and kind of his relationship with Celaena and their friendship and everything. I really liked seeing that develop, and it really kind of explains a lot about Throne of Glass, and I really enjoyed that. I really loved Sam a lot. Now, it's kind of difficult to describe the plot since it is separate short stories, but I found that the plot of each of them individually was really great. It was a full story arc. They were pretty fast moving. I mean, Sarah J. Maas's books aren't exactly the most fast paced, but they were a decent pace. And I really liked the fact that the plot kind of continued from story to story. So there was a whole story arc over the whole entire book, as well as within each of the individual stories. But I did really like how they all connected, and it kind of progressed as a normal novel would. I really liked how all of the stories were unique. They didn't all follow the same plot line. They were really different in their own way, and I really enjoyed that, because you weren't just reading the same story over and over again. It was different stories that kind of made this whole huge story, and I loved that. Overall, I ended up giving this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I actually reread it because I had read it before, but I read it really quickly, and if I read her books really quickly, I miss a lot of things, so I reread it, and I'm rereading the whole series. It's gonna take me a really long time, but I might redo all of the reviews for the other books, but we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this one. I would 100% recommend it. I think that, like, you don't have to read this to read the Throne of Glass series, but I think reading this one before you delve into the series will really add a lot to your reading of it, and you'll have a lot of information that is kind of left out in the other books, and it just makes it more of an experience reading it, I think. I think you get to see more of Celaena, and you kind of get a better understanding of her, so I think it's definitely worth it to read this, because it really is fabulous, and it does add so much to the rest of the series. And I've heard that into the further books, I read Heir of Fire, but I don't remember it at all, but I've heard that in Queen of Shadows, a lot of stuff won't make sense if you haven't read this book, so I would definitely recommend reading it. So that's going to be all for today's review. Let me know your thoughts on this book if you have read it, and don't forget to subscribe. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and if you wanted to follow me on social media, I have basically all the social media. It's all linked down below. My username is HalesHeartsNYC for everything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!